I have handled hundreds of meth investigations. I've been in hundreds of meth labs over those 41 years. The first drug lab I went into was in 1979. That was quite a long time ago. In those days, we went into meth labs wearing street clothes when I worked drug investigations. You can think of the health risks that we later discovered as a result of that. I have a health condition as a result of my exposure to toxic chemicals from meth labs. Several of my workmates have been diagnosed with cancer. 4 of them have died from cancer directly attributable to meth labs. This is dangerous stuff. It's explosive, it's toxic, it costs tens of thousands, hundreds of millions of dollars to clean up, to deal with. You go into any grocery store and you'll see what I believe are adequate remedies for the everyday cold. I'm not a medical provider, but I'm a patient. I get a cold. I don't have any trouble controlling my congestion or my cold by buying what's available in the stores. You heard the gentleman from the South, from the company that handles Nplex, testify, and he touted Nplex as being a kind of the salvation to regulate pseudoephedrine. But then you also heard him say that this state has 100 and some odd, and this state has 60, and this state has 40. Well, you know what? Oregon's law is 0. We went from 600 several years ago until this legislature acted and produced what I think is the best law that's come out of this House in 30 years, and it dealt with our methamphetamine problem because we have 0. So what we have now works. Why would we want to take a step backwards? Why would we want to create that risk that Mr. Bovet just talked about? My 41 years tells me, from my experience, that we might be creating a circumstance where some criminal enterprising individual can get that group smurfing going. I can think of several ways that it might get going. You think about homeless folks, people that need money, that have identification. You round up a big group and you send them out, and they can legitimately buy this stuff under the Nplex proposal or under this bill's proposal. And then where are we? And it might not be the big super lab, because maybe those are out of the country, and perhaps all the meth that comes into our country right now, or a good majority of it, is made outside of the country. But the reality is this. You heard that gentleman from the South talk a minute ago about those meth labs are in small containers. Well, I know from my experience they're in pressure cookers, crock pots, bathtubs, stove tops. Those were the issues that we dealt with in this state. It was those homemade mom and pop labs. And an enterprising individual, if there's a little chink in the armor, will go back to that method. And that's what costs us millions of dollars, creates issues for drug endangered children, puts our first responders at risk, creates environmental issues, and it's just bad policy. What we have now works. What Mr. Bovet proposed would make it maybe a little bit better, but why would we take a step backwards and follow the -2 amendment in this House Bill 2303 as written? So chiefs and sheriffs oppose that, and we hope we have your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions?